Our planet is breathtaking yet ruthless, home to landscapes that push human endurance to the brink. From scorching deserts to frozen wastelands, towering peaks to deadly depths, these extreme places test survival like no other. Brace yourself as we explore the 16 most dangerous locations on Earth. Oymyakon. Imagine a place so cold that stepping outside for too long could mean losing your fingers or even your life.
Very cold.
This is Oymyakon, a remote village in Siberia, Russia, known as one of the coldest inhabited places on Earth. Temperatures in winter can drop below -58 degrees Fahrenheit, creating a deadly environment where frostbite and hypothermia are constant dangers. Life here is not just difficult, it's a battle for survival. The ground stays frozen most of the year, making it impossible to grow crops. Residents must rely on stored food and whatever they can hunt or fish. Even basic infrastructure struggles against the cold. Water pipes freeze, roads become icy traps, and any exposed skin can freeze in minutes. Surrounded by towering mountains, Oymyakon is locked in a frigid prison. These mountains block warm air, trapping the cold and making the village one of the most unforgiving places in the world. Strangely, despite the brutal cold, the name Oymyakon means water that doesn't freeze. This comes from a rare natural phenomenon beneath the village. The region sits on a thin section of the Earth's crust, allowing heat from deep underground to rise. This warmth creates natural hot springs, which provide a crucial lifeline. These steaming waters allow residents to warm up and even fish, offering one of the few sources of fresh food in an otherwise frozen wasteland. For most of the year, people remain inside, only venturing out when absolutely necessary. The cold is not just uncomfortable, it is life-threatening. The Darien Gap. A jungle so deadly that even the bravest hesitate. This is the Darien Gap, a treacherous stretch of wilderness between Colombia and Panama. It is the only land route connecting South and Central America, yet crossing it is a nightmare. Thick vegetation, raging rivers, and deadly predators make it nearly impossible to navigate. But the dangers don't stop there. Armed gangs, drug traffickers, and ruthless criminals turn this jungle into a place of fear and death. For years, those attempting to cross worried about venomous snakes, jaguars, and disease-carrying insects. Now, their greatest fear is violence at the hands of criminals who patrol the region. Migrants desperate to reach North America enter this green abyss, knowing they may never come out. The Darien Jungle, often called the Green Hell, is one of the most inhospitable places on Earth. Roads cannot be built here. The land itself fights against them. Towering mountains rise as high as 3,900 feet, while dense forests block out the sun. Rivers flow fast and deep, swallowing those who misstep. Rain pours relentlessly, turning paths into muddy traps. The heat is suffocating, and humidity clings to the skin like a second layer. With no clean water, dehydration and disease strike fast. Even if nature doesn't claim them, human threats lurk everywhere. Armed groups control sections of the jungle, demanding money, stealing supplies, and leaving victims behind. Migrants traveling alone or in small groups become easy targets for robbery, kidnapping, or worse. Despite the horrors, thousands continue to risk their lives here, hoping for a better future. Many do not make it. Their bodies are left behind, silent warnings to those who come after them. North Sentinel Islands. North Sentinel Island, one of the most isolated places on Earth, is infamous for being completely off-limits due to the extreme hostility of its indigenous inhabitants, the Sentinelese. Located in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands of India, this remote landmass is home to a small, uncontacted tribe that has remained fiercely resistant to any outside interaction for thousands of years. Attempts to approach the island have been met with violence, making it one of the most dangerous places for outsiders. The Sentinelese have made their stance clear on numerous occasions. One of the most well-known incidents occurred in 2006 when two Indian fishermen, Sundar Raj and Pandit Tiwari, unknowingly drifted too close to the island while illegally fishing. The Sentinelese attacked and killed them, dragging their bodies onto the shore. Even attempts to retrieve the bodies were met with a hail of arrows, forcing authorities to abandon the effort. A more recent and widely publicized case was that of John Allen Chau, an American missionary who, in 2018, attempted to make contact with the tribe in hopes of converting them to Christianity. Despite multiple warnings, Chau reached the island but was ultimately killed by the Sentinelese. The Indian government has declared North Sentinel Island a restricted area, banning anyone from approaching within 2 miles. This is both for the safety of outsiders and to protect the Sentinelese from potential exposure to diseases they have no immunity against. As a result, North Sentinel remains one of the last untouched places on Earth, sealed off in secrecy and danger. Fraser Island. Fraser Island looks like paradise, but it's one of the most dangerous places on Earth. Located off the Queensland coast in Australia, this island is over 120 kilometers long and filled with breathtaking sights. Towering sand dunes, crystal-clear lakes, and dense rainforests make it a UNESCO World Heritage Site. But behind the beauty, danger lurks everywhere. Dingoes roam freely here, and they are not the friendly, curious creatures many imagine. These wild dogs have attacked people multiple times, some with deadly consequences. Walking alone or carrying food can make anyone a target. Visitors are warned to stay cautious, but that doesn't always stop the attacks. The island's waters are just as dangerous. The beaches may have soft white sand and clear blue waves, but stepping in can be a mistake. Box jellyfish and irukandji jellyfish drift through these waters, delivering venomous stings that can kill within minutes. Sharks patrol the coastline, waiting for the right moment to strike. Swimming here isn't just risky, it can be fatal. Even on land, the dangers never stop. Fraser Island is home to some of Australia's most venomous spiders. A single bite can cause paralysis or even death. The island's thick forests provide perfect hiding spots for these deadly creatures. Tourists who wander off the path may find themselves face to face with something truly terrifying. Yet despite these risks, Fraser Island continues to attract visitors. Its beauty is undeniable, but those who come must be prepared. Snake Island. Snake Island, also known as Ilha da Queimada Grande, has a terrifying reputation. Located off the coast of Brazil, it is said to be one of the deadliest places on Earth. The reason? Thousands of venomous snakes. But is the danger as real as it seems? The island is home to the golden lancehead, a species of viper with a highly potent venom. Legends tell of sailors who stepped onto the island, never to return. Yet there are no confirmed reports of golden lancehead bites on humans. Scientists who study these snakes say they are not aggressive. They do not attack when approached and seem uninterested in humans. These vipers have a unique diet. They feed mostly on 2 species of migratory songbirds, the Chilean Alania, which visits in the spring, and the yellow-legged thrush, which arrives in autumn. Interestingly, the island's resident birds, the southern house wren and the bananaquit, rarely fall prey to them. So how many snakes live on this island? Estimates range between 2,000 and 4,000. Even if the highest number is accurate, that means each snake has over 1,000 square feet to itself. Some visitors, like adventurer Lord Miles, have even claimed to walk across the island without seeing a single snake. It's possible the population was larger in the past. Today, the golden lancehead is listed as critically endangered by the IUCN. Their numbers are dropping, partly due to illegal poaching. The black market for exotic pets has driven prices up. One of these snakes can sell for as much as $30,000. With the island closed to the public, is the real reason to protect people from the snakes or to protect the snakes from people? The golden lancehead may be deadly, but perhaps it is the one truly in danger. Death Valley. Death Valley is one of the most dangerous places on Earth. Scorching heat, deadly terrain, and almost no water make survival a challenge. Unprepared travelers risk dehydration, getting lost, or even facing flash floods. In summer, temperatures soar past 120 degrees Fahrenheit, the highest ambient air temperature ever recorded. Some experts debate this reading, but one thing is certain: this place is brutal. In the winter of 1814–1850, a group of pioneers searching for a shortcut to California's gold fields found themselves trapped in this unforgiving land. Lost and desperate, they believed Death Valley would be their final resting place. In the end, only one of them died, but their suffering gave the valley its grim name. Yet, against all odds, life persists here. The Timbisha tribe, formerly called the Panamint Shoshone, has survived in this land for at least 1,000 years. Their deep knowledge of the valley's scarce resources has kept them alive in a place where few could endure. Death Valley also holds another extreme record. It's the driest place in North America. Some areas get less than 2 inches of rain per year. Despite this, a small number of people still call it home. How do they manage? The challenge of living in such a hostile environment only adds to the valley's mystery. But there's more to Death Valley than its deadly reputation. Its landscapes are unlike anything else. Towering sand dunes, jagged rocks, and salt flats stretching endlessly. The valley's unique geology tells a story of a world shaped by time and extreme conditions. A place of record-breaking heat, eerie beauty, and remarkable survival. Death Valley is both terrifying and fascinating. It pushes the limits of human endurance and nature's resilience. Madidi National Park. Deep in the heart of Bolivia, far from city life, lies Madidi National Park. It is enormous, stretching beyond sight, filled with untamed wilderness. Thick jungles, towering mountains, and winding rivers make up this land, hiding creatures both rare and dangerous. Getting here is no easy task. The nearest town is miles away, with no internet or cell phone signal. Once inside, the outside world disappears. Some come for this very reason, to escape. Others seek adventure, drawn by the park's incredible biodiversity. Scientists estimate that 1/10 of all bird species on Earth live here. But birds are not the only inhabitants. This park holds dangers few can imagine. Poison dart frogs lurk in the undergrowth, their bright colors a warning. Pumas move silently, unseen until it's too late. Fire ants swarm in the thousands, attacking anything in their path. The threats do not stop with animals. Hidden among the trees are plants that cause unbearable itching, dizziness, and burning rashes. Even a tiny scratch can turn deadly, as tropical parasites quickly invade open wounds. The landscape itself is unforgiving. One moment, visitors struggle through the dense, humid rainforest. The next, they face the freezing slopes of the Bolivian Andes. The park is beautiful, a place of breathtaking scenery, but behind the picture-perfect view lies one of the most hostile environments on the planet. Those who enter must be prepared. Here, nature rules, and only the strong survive. Mount Washington. Mount Washington in New Hampshire is one of the deadliest mountains for climbers and hikers. Many have lost their lives here, battling its brutal conditions.
Officials in New Hampshire are working to reunite a dog with the family of a hiker who died on Mount Washington.
The danger comes from its extreme weather. Winds on this mountain are no joke. In 1934, gusts reached 231 miles per hour, one of the fastest wind speeds ever recorded on land. But that's not all. The freezing temperatures can drop as low as -40 degrees, turning the mountain into an icy trap. The summit stands as the highest point in New Hampshire, but getting there is no easy feat. Roads from Pinkham Notch lead up, and a cog railway has been running since 1869. For those who prefer to hike, marked trails offer a direct but risky path to the top. Even the summit buildings are built to survive the harsh winds. Tip Top House, Summit House, and the Mount Washington Weather Observatory stand as proof of how unforgiving this place can be. What makes Mount Washington so deadly? The powerful western winds are enough to knock climbers off their feet. Even experienced hikers have lost their way after being blown off course. Some never made it back. The unpredictable weather can turn a simple hike into a life-or-death situation within minutes. One moment, the sky is clear. The next, a sudden storm engulfs everything in a whiteout, leaving hikers stranded in freezing conditions. Yet, despite the danger, adventurers keep coming. They see it as the ultimate challenge. Surviving Mount Washington is a badge of honor, a once-in-a-lifetime experience. The deadly waters of Lake Natron. Lake Natron in Tanzania is unlike any other. Its waters are so harsh that most living creatures cannot survive. With extreme alkalinity, scorching temperatures, and caustic water, this lake is one of the deadliest places on Earth. One look at the lake, and something immediately stands out. It's red. The deep red and pink shades come from tiny microorganisms thriving in its extreme conditions. The lake's pH levels often go beyond 10, sometimes reaching 12, making it nearly as corrosive as ammonia. Salt-loving algae and special bacteria, known as haloarchaea, flourish here, and their red pigments give the lake its eerie color. But beauty can be deceiving. The same alkalinity that gives Lake Natron its stunning color also makes it incredibly dangerous. Its waters can burn human skin and cause serious irritation to the eyes. Touching the water isn't just painful, it's risky. The lake's surface temperature can also go over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, making it one of the hottest bodies of water in the world. Few creatures can handle this hostile environment. Most animals that come into contact with the water do not survive. Birds that mistakenly land in the lake can become trapped. Over time, the minerals in the water preserve their bodies, creating eerie statues of the dead. Humans too have felt the lake's dangers. In 2007, a helicopter carrying wildlife photographers flew too close to the surface and crashed into the toxic water. The pilot suffered a broken leg, and a passenger broke their hip. The entire crew of 9 barely escaped, rescued by the local Maasai people. One photographer recalled how the water burned his eyes, leaving his vision blurred. K2 Mountain. K2, also known as Mount Godwin Austen, is one of the deadliest mountains on Earth, claiming the lives of many who attempt to conquer it. Towering at 28,250 feet, it stands on the border of China and Pakistan, second only to Mount Everest in height. But don't let its ranking fool you. K2 is far more dangerous. Unlike Everest, K2's slopes are steeper, icier, and more unpredictable. Climbers face near vertical rock walls, unstable ice, and brutal conditions. Every step is a battle against nature. The mountain is prone to rockfalls and avalanches, making survival even harder. One wrong move could mean the difference between life and death. Swedish mountaineer Fredrik Eriksson's story is proof of this, who lost his life while going up the bottleneck on August 6, 2010. He accidentally dislodged a rock while placing a piton, which knocked him from his stance. He fell 3,300 feet and was killed. The weather on K2 is unforgiving. Temperatures can plunge to minus 60 degrees Celsius, with fierce snowstorms and powerful winds that make climbing nearly impossible. The air is thin, oxygen is scarce, and frostbite is a constant threat. Even the most skilled mountaineers struggle to make it to the top. The numbers speak for themselves. K2's fatality rate is around 28%, much higher than Everest's 4%. For every 4 climbers who attempt to summit, 1 never returns. This brutal statistic cements K2's reputation as the most perilous mountain on the planet. Skeleton Coast of Namibia. The Skeleton Coast of Namibia is one of the most dangerous places on Earth. Thick fog, powerful currents, and violent waves have made these waters a ship graveyard. Many vessels have crashed against its rocky shores, leaving behind rusted remains and scattered bones of marine animals. This eerie coastline stretches from the Kunene River in the north to the Swakop River in the south. Some use the name to describe the entire Namib desert coast. For centuries, this place has been feared. The indigenous San people called it the land God made in anger. Portuguese sailors had another name, the Gates of Hell. Both names fit perfectly. The Skeleton Coast is a nightmare of shifting sands, sudden storms, and relentless winds. Those who survived a shipwreck found no safety. The scorching desert stretched endlessly, offering little food or water. Few ever made it out alive. This haunting place is not just deadly because of the ocean. The land itself is just as merciless. Skeletons of whales and seals litter the shore, their bones bleached by the sun. Towering dunes make travel nearly impossible. Even the air is thick with mist, making navigation difficult. Yet, some creatures have adapted to this harsh world. Hyenas and lions prowl the dunes, searching for food. They are some of the only survivors in a place where life barely clings on. Despite its dangers, the Skeleton Coast draws adventurers and explorers. The rusted remains of shipwrecks stand like ghostly monuments. Some ships are half buried in the sand, their stories lost to time. The coast is a chilling reminder of nature's power. It is beautiful in its own haunting way, a place where the ocean and desert meet in a battle that has claimed countless lives. Melusu. Hidden in the mountains of Central Asia, Melusu is one of the most dangerous places on Earth. This small Kyrgyz town, deep in the Fergana Valley, holds a deadly secret: massive amounts of radioactive waste left behind from Soviet-era uranium mining. The contamination has poisoned rivers, destroyed farmland, and put millions of lives at risk. The Soviet Union began uranium mining in Melusu in 1946, extracting radioactive material for more than 2 decades. Not only was uranium mined there, but ore from Europe and China was also processed in the area. When operations stopped in 1968, the danger didn't end. Instead, it grew worse. Today, Kyrgyzstan has 92 storage sites filled with radioactive and toxic waste, but the ones in Melusu are the most unstable and deadly. The greatest threat comes from the crumbling tailing pits, huge dumps holding toxic radioactive sludge. If these pits collapse, the consequences could be catastrophic. Radiation would spread through rivers, poisoning water supplies, farmlands, and entire communities. And it wouldn't stop in Kyrgyzstan. Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan would also face disaster. The scale of this crisis is terrifying. Uranium was first discovered in Melusu in 1933, and within 20 years, 10,000 tons of uranium oxide had been extracted. Now, the region is home to around 14 million people, many of whom unknowingly live under a ticking time bomb. Melusu is a disaster waiting to happen. The soil is toxic, the rivers are at risk, and every day the possibility of a radioactive collapse looms closer. Volcano in Hawaii. Hawaii may seem like a paradise, but beneath its breathtaking beaches and lush landscapes lies one of the most dangerous places on the planet. Nowhere else in the world can you get this close to erupting volcanoes, where molten rock, toxic gases, and explosive forces shape the land in real time. The Hawaii Volcanoes National Park is not just a tourist attraction. It's a death trap waiting to strike. This park is home to Kilauea, one of the world's most active volcanoes.
And here, you really do get a sense of its power. It's an awesome sight.
Which has been spewing lava non-stop since 1983. Its fiery rivers carve through the land, swallowing everything in their path. Then there's Mauna Loa, the largest volcano on Earth.
New aerial videos show Hawaii's Mauna Loa volcano spewing fountains of lava and sending glowing streams across its surface. Look at this, the volcano
towering 13,681 feet above sea level. A single eruption from these giants can wipe out entire regions. And history has shown that they don't erupt quietly. Tourists looking for adventure are drawn to lava boat tours, where vessels navigate dangerously close to red-hot rivers of molten rock. One wrong move and the boat could be swallowed by the scorching waves. Hikers exploring lava fields risk stepping on the ground that could collapse at any moment, sending them straight into boiling lava tubes beneath the surface. Those who venture too close to the coastline face another deadly threat: scalding ocean water and toxic steam explosions when lava meets the sea. The dangers don't stop there. Lava haze, a poisonous cloud filled with microscopic glass particles, can cause instant lung damage. Flying molten rock can strike without warning, turning a peaceful tour into a life-or-death situation. The national park has recorded countless deaths and injuries, with some victims disappearing into the lava forever. For thrill seekers, this is the ultimate test of courage. Bermuda Triangle. A vast stretch of ocean surrounded by Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico has sparked fear and curiosity for decades. This region, known as the Bermuda Triangle or the Devil's Triangle, is infamous for unexplained vanishings of ships, planes, and people. Some believe it holds supernatural forces, while others argue it's just another part of the ocean. But what's the truth? Massive aircraft and enormous ships have disappeared without sending a single distress signal. No wreckage, no survivors, just gone. This has led to countless theories trying to explain the phenomenon. Could there be strange magnetic forces interfering with navigation systems? Are underwater methane gas eruptions swallowing vessels whole? Or is it something far more mysterious? One of the most popular explanations is rogue waves, gigantic walls of water towering up to 100 feet. These waves can destroy anything in their path, leaving no trace behind. Scientists argue that these waves are common in turbulent waters and could easily sink ships before anyone has a chance to call for help. Despite these theories, the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, states that the Bermuda Triangle is no more dangerous than any other heavily traveled part of the ocean. They argue that disappearances can be explained by human error, unpredictable weather, and natural oceanic conditions. However, that hasn't stopped people from believing in something far more mysterious lurking beneath the waves. Even with scientific explanations, the legend of the Bermuda Triangle refuses to die. Some claim it's a portal to another dimension. Others believe it's linked to extraterrestrial activity. Whatever the cause, the disappearances remain an eerie reminder of how little we truly understand about the vast and unpredictable ocean. The Danakil Desert. The Danakil Desert is one of the most dangerous places on Earth. It burns under the scorching sun, with temperatures soaring higher than almost anywhere else.
We're now at the beginning of the Danakil Depression. I think we're about 300 meters right now, but we still got to go down to minus 100. And like I said, the hottest place in the world.
The ground itself is alive. Volcanoes spit fire, and toxic gases rise from bubbling springs. It's a place where life struggles to exist, yet people still come. This deadly desert stretches across Ethiopia, Eritrea, and Djibouti. It is also called the Danakil Depression, a vast, barren land with almost no vegetation. British explorer Wilfred Thesiger once called it a land of death. But even in this harsh environment, people have found ways to survive. For centuries, miners have chipped away at salt, once used as money in Ethiopia. Scientists have long been drawn to this extreme landscape. In the 1960s, they studied its shifting plates, uncovering secrets of Earth's movements. Now, researchers are interested in something even bigger: life beyond our planet. The desert's otherworldly conditions resemble Mars, making it a perfect place to study astrobiology. Despite the dangers, tourists still come. Some wake before dawn, departing from Wilco at 4 a.m. for the 3-hour journey by rugged 4-wheel drive. Others take helicopters, soaring above the alien landscape. The views from the sky reveal something almost unreal: vivid yellow and orange pools, steaming vents, and twisted rock formations. It looks like another planet, but the beauty hides danger. Near the hot springs, the ground is littered with lifeless insects and birds, victims of the toxic fumes. Locals call these pools killer lakes. One breath too close, and survival isn't guaranteed. Yet, the Danakil Desert remains a mystery that keeps pulling people in. Lake Nyos, the silent killer. A lake should be peaceful, but Lake Nyos in Cameroon hides a deadly secret. In 1986, this deep volcanic lake became the site of one of the most mysterious and terrifying disasters in history. Without warning, a massive cloud of carbon dioxide erupted from the water, spreading over nearby villages. The gas, invisible and heavier than air, moved silently, suffocating over 1,700 people in their sleep. Even animals dropped lifeless where they stood.
Just sitting among the dead people. Inside the house, some of them were outside, some of them behind the houses. Animals everywhere, lying, fowls, dogs, cows, everything. So I was confused by then.
What made this disaster so deadly? The lake sits above a pocket of volcanic activity, which causes carbon dioxide to slowly dissolve into the water. Over time, the gas builds up, trapped beneath the surface. Then, something, a landslide, heavy rain, or even a small earthquake, triggers a violent release. The result? A massive, suffocating cloud that spreads across the land, wiping out life in minutes. Survivors described waking up to find entire villages eerily silent. No screams, no struggle, just people lying motionless, as if they had simply fallen asleep. The lack of warning made escape impossible. Even today, Lake Nyos remains one of the deadliest places on Earth. Scientists have installed pipes to release gas slowly and prevent another explosion, but the danger isn't completely gone. If the buildup happens again, another disaster could strike. We hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more amazing stories.